up, guys, and welcome to another edition of Market Riders, beating the market one trade at a time. If you need a Market Riders investment channel, helps you to find the best deals in the market. If there's something you're interested in, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Definitely helps the YouTube algorithm promote the videos. All right, so today I'll be going over my top growth ETFs and basically explaining what ETFs are. And then I'm going to go over my top ETFs that I think everyone should be watching, especially after this election. So jumping into what are ETFs, this is on Investopedia, has a great information library on explaining what different things are. So I think everybody should go check out Investopedia if you got any questions about, trading or any investing knowledge that you are looking for. Investopedia basically has the source for that. But basically the key takeaways of what an ETF is an exchange traded fund. So that's what ETF stands for, is a basket of securities that trade on an exchange just like a stock. ETF share prices fluctuate all day as the ETF is bought and sold, and this is different from a mutual fund that only trade once a day after the market closes. ETFs can contain all types of investments, including stocks, commodities, or bonds. Some offer U.S. only holdings, while others are international. ETFs offer lower expense ratios and fewer broker commissions than buying the stocks individually. So basically, ETF is similar to a mutual fund, but it's just a collection of stocks put together that make that ETF. The ETFs that I'm looking at that I think are the top growth ones, first one being THCX, and that is the cannabis ETF. So as you guys may be aware, at the time of this video, President for the United States is Joe Biden. So if you're familiar with the Democratic agenda, cannabis is one of those things that is always on the Democratic agenda ever since, around the Obama time period. So I think cannabis stocks in general are going to go up. So THCX is one of the ones that I'm looking at to potentially go up. Now on the channel, I like to give background information on their holdings and, different information, not just looking at the chart. So first on the chart portion, we can see that they are bullish at the current moment, denoting the moving average 10 line being above the moving average 50 and 100, which is this yellow and purple line. So at the time of the video, they are bullish. They are on a pretty big uptrend compared to where they were starting in the beginning of November. And I think, people may say that's priced into the election, but I don't think it was priced into the election. This election process was pretty crazy. But I think, it has potential to continue to go up, especially considering it hit the $12.19 mark. So going into their holdings, these are some of the companies that they hold. So for every ETF, they have a breakdown of all the different companies that they hold. So if you don't want to get the ETF as a whole, you can go and get the individual stocks that they're holding. But the ETF, the beauty of it is the entire portfolio or the entire ETF is each individual section of this company. So look at their holdings. We have Canopy Growth, Grow Generation, Kronos Group, Tilray, Afaria, Village Farms, GW Pharmaceuticals, Scott's Miracle Grow, Aurora Cannabis, Fire and Flower, Charlotte's Web, just to name a few. A couple of these companies I do know, like Aurora, I know is a pretty big company. Canopy Growth is a huge company. One company I don't see on here that you may have heard of is Planet 13. I know Jeremy Education channel always talks about Planet 13. That's definitely one to look forward to, but it's not in this actual fund. But they do have a lot of good names and a lot of big companies in this fund in the top portion. So on the right hand side, it shows the weight, so how much percentage of the company that this ETF is holding, and Canopy Growth, Grow Generation, and Kronos seem to be the top three, which are all really big companies. So I think it's a really good company or ETF as a whole, and I think, with this new presidency, we're going to see the growth of this sector. So going to the next one, we have ticker sign SOCL, and that is the Global X Social Media ETF. If we see they're bullish at the current time of this video, ending the week at 56.65. So going into some of their holdings for this ETF, we can see scrolling down to the bottom, I think it shows like their top ones are all of them. So we have Facebook, 10 Cent Holdings, Snap, which is Snapchat, Twitter, Match Group, Naver, Pinterest, Google, Baidu, and Yandex. So a lot of search engines, a lot of social media stuff in general. But I think overall this is a pretty, well put together fund, in my personal opinion. Yandex may be one that people don't know, but it's sort of like Google. Some of these I haven't heard of, like Tencent or Match Group or Baidu, but all the rest of them I've heard of before, and I think they're really good at growth companies. And with the last presidency, we saw that President Trump definitely used Twitter quite a bit. But I think, this is the dawn or the age of social media. So, every information that goes out there is going to go through one of these media. So it's going to go through Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, or Pinterest. So, just like the presidency was announced, all of those platforms definitely benefited from that presidency being announced. But any updates going on with anything in the country in general are going to go through those platforms. So, they're not platforms that are, obsolete. They're basically platforms that are here to stay. So, with that being said, that's why I chose them, because I think their growth is going to continue as time goes on. Going into the next one, we got ticker sign QCLN, and that is for First Trust NASDAQ Clean Edge Green Energy ETF. So at the time of this video, they ended at $54.38. So not too bad of a metric for that one. They are bullish, denoted by this moving average 10 line, being above the moving average 50 and the moving average 100. So that is pretty good metrics for the company as a whole. Going into their holdings, this is on Market Watch. So just going to scroll to the bottom to see what companies they're holding. If we see on here, they have NIO, Tesla, Solar Edge, Enphase Energy, Albemarle, Sunrun, Brooksfield Renewable Partners, Universal Display, On Semiconductor, and Cree. So those are just the top holdings. They have more holdings, but if you look at the top three, NIO, Tesla, and Solar Edge, I think those are going to continue to grow as time goes on, especially we see in the coming weeks. NIO has just gone, exponentially high. Tesla, I think, will continue to grow, and Solar Edge, I think, will have a new initiative for the green renewable energy from the Democratic Party. So going into the last one on here, we got ticker sign IHF, and IHF, and that is for iShares U.S. Healthcare Providers ETF. So they are bullish at the time of this video. They ended at $224. And going into some background on their holdings, we can see that they have in their top holdings United Health Group, Anthem Incorporated, CVS, Cigna, CenterCorp, Teladoc, Humana, HCA Healthcare, Laboratory Corporation of America, and Quest Diagnostics. So the top three on here, I think everyone's heard of CVS. If not CVS, they've heard of Walgreens if you're in the United States. United Health Group is a very large healthcare provider. Anthem is a large provider as well, and this seems to be their top holdings. So in my opinion, I think this is a very, nicely distributed ETF. You have 6 pages of different funds that they're actually invested in, but the top ones to me are, the highest weighted ones. So that's basically going to determine the way the whole ETF is going to behave. But I think healthcare in general will continue to grow, especially considering we don't have a cure for the pandemic. But it seemed to be that the healthcare sector, in my opinion, was recession proof. So it's something that we're going to need, especially considering, the pandemic going on and cases going up. So I think it's going to be funding going towards this sector with the new presidency. So those are ETFs. That's the introduction ETFs, and those are some that I think you should watch. Drop a comment down below. Tell me what your favorite ETF is. Tell me which stocks you guys are looking at for the week, and have a good week trading. See you guys next time. Peace.